and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Jim's not here, so Renee's going to do the assessor meeting. Yeah, we had some corrections, I believe.
Right. This is, the first one is an abatement that you have already approved of for Corey Greenlaw. The paperwork had the wrong name, it was a clerical error. Yeah, it's public. It is. This is a new one. This was overassessed. This is for real estate account 1819, and it was mistakenly overassessed on his item, so he is issuing an abatement.
This is $141.23.
Yes.
Okay. We don't have any background, so how do you want to
We'll just approve
make a motion to approve?
it. Yes.
Motion to approve the abatements?
So moved.
Second?
I'll second.
All right, all in favor?
I would have liked to.
I don't know. But one is just a correction and the other
No,
one is...
correction. I'm outvoted, well, okay.
So you voted no?
Yeah.
Okay. 3 yeses and a no. So that means you're not gonna, that means you're not gonna sign it either, correct?
If I'm a Democrat and I can say no to something, I'd be happy.
Oh, there's a lot to say, no to.
Yes, but it doesn't mean anything. This one.
Oh, do these have to be in black ink?
I don't think it matters.
Oh, okay.
So is that all the business for the assessor? So we will close the assessor's meeting. Do we need a motion to close the assessor meeting?
So moved.
All in favor? We'll just do that in case we need it. Now we are going to open the select board meeting, and it is 6 o'clock. We need a motion to sign the warrants.
Motion to sign the warrants, please.
Second.
All in favor? So are we going too fast? We're going too fast, Renee.
Aww.
She has to do all the notes and sip in the ride. Someone has a chicken in the oven.
Yeah.
Vegetable garden. Tomatoes are great this year.
We need the motion to approve the minutes of August 22nd.
So moved.
How about I make a motion?
I make a
to
motion to approve the minutes of
minutes.
August.
I will second the minutes.
All in favor? I wasn't here. All right. Old business. I could actually
Actually, this could go in old business, because they voted on this last board meeting.
Okay, sure. So you voted to send Sherry Ashby a letter of appreciation. The town of Lubec expresses its gratitude for the use of your amazing artistic talent at the Stockbridge Park stage. The artwork you portrayed of the quaint downtown Lubec area is unique and beautiful. Having local artistry on permanent display is just one more reason to draw people to Lubec and enjoy the creative beauty along with all its natural beauty. On behalf of the town of Lubec, please accept our heartfelt appreciation. Sincerely, the select board. I need a motion to sign.
I move that we sign that lovely letter.
Second?
I'll second.
All in favor? Okay. You might want to wait to get Joanne. It would look nice if Joanne signed it too. There are the warrants. Open.
Speak of the devil.
Oh, great. Just in time to put your hand, John Hancock, on Sherry Ashby's letter of appreciation.
Okay.
And
I didn't reference them, just so we can.
You waiting for me?
Okay. And is it just paving, was that the only bidding we were doing? Okay. Alright, so we have a bid, we're gonna open the bids for paving, but we only, Renee just stated we only had one paving bid, and they're the only ones that came to the pre-bid meeting to know what they wanted. So, it has Carey Place Cove is 28,000, Boot Cove Road is 58,000, Straight Bay Road is 106,000, and School Street is 7,000.
Here's five.
County Concrete and Construction. So, what shall we do with this
You
bid?
add that up, it's about, I think the help is 156,000.
Is that it?
Yes.
Well, 15.
And with what the state gives us and what we have.
146,000, is that what you said?
28.
Is it, did you say
No, I
146?
said 156.
Maybe it's 156.
156.
156.
So I had Suzette run some numbers of what we have on hand. Our road improvement fund has 160,170.81. The town raised 25,000 for paving at town meeting to make 185,170.81. And then the LRAP money, which comes in, I believe, in the fall, we're gonna be getting 35,956.
What other projects does the Public Works have to do?
Well, the plan would be, I believe, is to use all the LRAP money, because that's just for paving. Use all the paving, the 25 grand, because that was raised just for paving, and then any additional, take out of the road improvement fund, which
So that you can keep a surplus?
and leave that for dirt roads or other road improvements that you need. They'll be
Sounds
reasonable.
reasonable. Yes.
What about the sidewalk?
But that's a whole other issue.
They were the only bidders.
Yeah, yes,
And they're the only ones that came to the pre-bid meeting.
yeah.
Does that sound reasonable, Jason?
No, it doesn't.
I mean, I'm just.
They're gonna be doing the very end of Straight Bay, and there's gonna be, that's the largest chunk. And then the next year, we'll go from where they stopped, and then keep working, and that's the only way I think to keep patching up these bad roads.
And you, of course, we should we make the motion to accept the bids subject to Ricky's approval?
This is with Ricky's.
Ricky's already seen it.
He's already
His
seen it.
directors, yes.
Oh, okay.
And they're actually
Oh.
replacing the culverts right now on the
That was
roads.
the question I was just gonna ask, if
Yeah.
all the culverts were done,
They're-
ditching
yep.
and.
One of the big projects is School Street, there's a drainage issue. All of School
Yes.
Street's not going to be paved, it's just to fix the slope, to slant it back
Yes.
towards where it's supposed to
Are they
be.
gonna cover up the culvert things? There's huge
Right.
ditches
Yes,
now, like
aprons will
this
be
swamp,
done.
this day, if your tire goes into one
Yeah.
of those holes.
Yeah, it's done to you.
I don't know, and I haven't put my tire in one of them yet. I don't think it's done, so I was waiting to have it get.
They're waiting for it
done.
to settle.
No, it does look good.
They're working hard on that. So, do we need a motion to accept the bid?
I would make a motion to accept that bid. Yeah, from County Concrete.
Second.
And, yeah, in the interest of
Discussion.
expediency.
All in favor?
I believe October is the month that it'll begin.
All right. So Julia Bradley Walking Trail. You're up. Come on down.
I had suggested that there be a walking trail behind the school athletic fields. Tina and I walked it 2 years ago. Someone was supposed to mow it. We still haven't mowed it. Someone else is supposed to mow it. We'll see if it gets mowed. Renee suggested I come here because if there's leftover cement, you could use that for that trail. If you go to Harrington, they have one right there by the medical center, and I see it as a collaborative effort amongst the school, the city government, and the medical center. So I just think that's a real good use of space.
A
and
circle
Tell me again.
around.
Yeah.
it would be an eighth of a mile track. There's a space beyond, what's the building, McGonagall's? I guess the school
Yes.
owns that property beyond the fence, and you could put an eighth of a mile track in there. Be good for the marathon. for people who are warming up and cooling down.
Uh-huh.
When I taught school, we had one at my school, and it served three purposes. First, kids walked before they got to school. They had a passport. It was a geography lesson because we marked how far they had walked, and it was a math lesson because they had to add up how far they had walked. So I see that as a benefit to the school and the community to be able to use that area back there.
It's a great
What's a
idea.
teacher always a teacher? I'm telling you.
Sorry. I've been to the school board and they say
Yes.
as long as it doesn't cost them money, they're in favor of it.
Yeah.
I've talked to Sheldon because Sheldon will have to maintain it. Because
Yes.
it'll have to be mowed, it'll
Is he
be
willing
on
to
school
do that?
property. You have to look at the liability of, somebody has suggested a dog park there, and I personally don't want dogs near school kids.
But
So-
if
Well,
this
it's-
were next to, perhaps. I was the said unknown voice that she was
It's not in the
referring to.
budget.
Well, I personally don't think that dogs and kids mix very well. In San Diego, where my daughter lives, and where your daughter lives, they have major dog parks, but there are lots of rules. Your dog has to be vaccinated, you know, there's all kinds, and it's fenced in and that kind of
We
thing.
were actually
Well,
talking, maybe
this
one of
isn't
the
in the budget.
trusts, maybe the land trust down behind could
Yeah.
incorporate a dog park.
You know, the thing right now is we're having trouble having people pick up the dog poop on the beach. So if
Yeah,
you
we
put
really
it
don't
out
want it in
there,
a walking
if we
trail.
keep them-
yeah,
But I could see it as a valuable asset to the community,
sure.
to the
I
kids,
agree.
to everybody. So what I'm looking for is some support.
Permission for the land use for one, I believe
Yes.
it's owned by the town of Lubec.
Yes.
I thought you just said it was a school property.
Well, it is, but in the end, it still belongs to the town of Lubec.
Yeah. And I'm in full agreement. I think it's a lovely idea. No dog park, so.
I didn't
It's
know
not
that
in this
part.
year's budget, so I'm really not sure how that we would accomplish it. It would have to have been in our budget, or we would need a special town meeting to expend the funds.
Well, I see it as, once it gets mowed and you see what you have, but it was shorter. Tina and I walked through with she has a thing that measures space. So, you know, you could set it up. You could actually have kids eventually, you know how a trail's made. You walk on it and make it and then you pave it. And there's government money apparently if you can prove that there's a need for it in the community. So
That's good, it doesn't cost us any money.
I've talked to
Yeah.
the people at the medical center, and they have a grant writer, so they're looking, he explained to me that you have to have in kind, so people's efforts to mow, people's efforts to do that kind of stuff is in kind donation, so, and I've talked to the people at Harrington, and this is how they got their trail. And if you've been by there, I've never been by there where there wasn't somebody on it.
That's right. That's
So-
right, I agree.
And I'd rather see people there than on the road. It makes me nervous when people are walking or running on the road, so
Right.
that's my idea, so.
You take a park like that or a trail, each access, you're gonna have people on it with dogs, and I'm on the beach every day, you see people down there with dogs. First thing to do is let the dog off the leash and let him run.
Yeah,
This would be just for people though,
Yeah.
not this one.
And
You'll have to put up signs, no dogs.
that's
Right.
right.
and you'd have to
That's right.
enforce
There'd
it.
have to be proper signage.
But, and there's already fencing, so that's an advantage, so.
What
about leash dogs?
I would prefer not, but because you have people who don't pick up after.
I'm still working on the dogs.
I just thought I'd throw that in.
Barbara?
I have one question, I'm going to direct it to Renee. She said the property is first stated was the schools, and she's saying it still belongs to the town.
I'm not sure, I'm going by the tax map, it
Okay,
just
I
says
just
town
want
of
to say to you
Lubec.
that the school property that the school is on and the field, one was donated by Dr. Bennett for the field, and the school property was donated, where the school is, was donated by someone else. So I wouldn't make that a blanket statement until you go back and check, because they had, when they donated, they had it specifically earmarked for what they wanted to do with that property.
Well, if it says town of Lubec, does the school property say in the school?
I'm going by the tax
SAD?
maps,
But it's
we know
tax.
that they're.
We're gonna have to look at the deeds, I guess.
Yeah.
Even if it's a school property, then I make motion that the school needs a track. And I think that the school itself should invest in a track, so either way.
Do you have deep pockets? Do you know how much a track costs, seriously?
Well, the town can't,
The
not on
medical
this
center
budget
seems to be your best bet.
with a grant.
Because
yes.
they have the grants, and they also have the little gym health center,
sport.
fitness
Yeah.
sport in the basement. So I think that might be a natural fit to have them, extend it to opening up a track.
It's much more practical than the ropes course was.
Well, it's a walking trail, it's not a track.
Walking trail.
It's not
I'm
a,
sorry, we said track.
yeah, it's,
Walking
I
track,
foresee it
yes.
as not a track as such, but a
But-
walking,
Okay, but once it's paved, it's gonna look like a track.
absolutely, but it's still not gonna be a.
What's the difference?
Whichever one gets you the grant.
There's no second yet, because we haven't had a firm motion.
Yeah.
That was
Well, it's
not,
not
I
really,
think, a
it's just a-
serious
it's
motion.
just
Well, I think we
Just
should move
information.
to explore, first
It's a
of all,
motion of
ownership.
support.
That sounds like a good idea. I
Yeah.
think we make a motion
To-
that
to-
Renee sees, first of all, who owns the property.
Yes.
It's not a no, but we'd have to have a special town meeting to give any money, and we haven't heard from Joanne. I would like to hear from Joanne.
No, I just think we ought to hit up some of these land trusts that wanted to help us out with different things and see if they would sink some money into a
Walking trail.
1/8 mile track between the soccer field and the medicals.
And in order to do that, somebody needs to take the leadership of drawing what it would look like and kind of have a little parameter of where it's gonna be, I believe. I like your idea of the kids walking it so that you can see where it's supposed to be. That's a good idea.
Well, I think you might, if you could get someone to come bush hogging, so at least you can see
You
that.
name that person for me.
Well, there's people up there with bush hogs, I can
Yes.
get them up to see if they'd come and do it.
Let's say we put this all together.
Sitting-
Who
Oh, I
would
can
be
see you. I can't
sort of
see
the
your hand.
owner and caretaker of this trail?
It would, I've talked to Sheldon about it and Tina both, and I think they would assume responsibility for it,
Okay.
Thinking and
so.
committing is
Yeah.
Stephanie.
Stephanie.
I don't recall that.
This fall.
Were you at the
Them taking
meeting?
personal responsibility or this, I remember something being slightly mentioned one time, it didn't include dog parks, it didn't include any real specifics on anything, it was just maybe an exploratory idea. But, to volunteer two people that, they could be leaving at some time, they might not be there and retire, and we're gonna give that as part of their job description then? To take care of that
I think the
thing?
school board needs to have an official vote on that.
We need to have this brought to, on an agenda.
If it's
Yeah, 'cause I
officially
mean-
school
Yes.
property.
Yeah.
I agree. I think we can find out who owns it first.
Right,
Yeah.
number one thing,
First, who
find
owns
out
it?
ownership.
Joanne's idea of approaching the land trust for part of the money, the medical center helping us with a grant, I think all of it's doable, but it's just not
I did talk to the school board 2 years ago.
2
I
years
was there.
ago.
That was true.
I was there over 2 years ago, and nobody mowed it, so you can't move ahead until somebody mows it. I was promised it would be mowed, and I did present it to the school board.
There's a whole new school board pretty much
Oh,
now.
yeah, I'm aware.
So,
Yes, I'm aware. I taught school, so I understand how that works. I just see it as something of benefit to
I think
kids.
really there's nothing being done there. I love the idea. It's
Yeah.
just how we
Yeah.
can come together so that it's a collective
Someone
process.
suggested you burn it.
the basketball court?
Yeah, the basketball court. See, you're parking there, you have lights.
Yeah.
When somebody's playing soccer, if you don't want to sit and wait for something to happen,
Walk on the trail.
Yep, just an idea that I had, so.
It's a good idea.
It is.
I think it's great.
It falls right into the healthy lifestyle we want Lubec to be. I love the idea. It's just, we'll get it together. So do we need to make a motion right now, or just that we're a yes, and how is it gonna work? If it doesn't
We
involve
just
money.
need to get the ducks in a row.
I think we
Table
should
it.
find out ownership first, have
Yeah.
Renee find out.
And the restrictions,
And the restrictions.
because like Barbara said, there is some funny wording on the school.
Right, so well, if the tax must just tell Lubec, we don't know if it's the schools or ours. Could be us. Or the
If it's
taxpayers.
It's
ours,
ours, then
it's
it's just a
no
phone
big
call.
deal.
No, yeah, we're okay with
It's
it.
just finding the money.
Then when I get research done, I'll bring it back.
Well, we're gonna make a motion to have you further investigate. Do we have a second on that?
Second.
Motion by,
I'll make a motion.
Seconded by Paul.
Seconded by, yes,
can't second your
no.
own motion.
All in favor, everybody can vote. Was exciting. Something positive anyway. Animal control officer. Oh, right.
Where is she?
She's in
She
Oh, that's
had to have a
right.
special thing for a kidney transplant.
Her
Some
son
very
is having
serious
some health
personal
issues.
issue.
So she could be gone up to 6 weeks. We don't have a deputy.
Who agreed to do it? I forgot. Troy, oh, that's why you're here, Troy. Thank you. So you agreed to do animal control officer in her absence, and she's agreed to.
He can't summons or anything, we have to work closely with the state agent, but he's willing to take the book and
That's fantastic.
respond to calls, be the eyes on the scene if he's available.
Thank you.
And so she's willing to give
95
up her
jobs.
stipend.
Yes,
So while you're doing that month anyway, for the first month, and she's going to turn over her.
if you could
And
have a
I am
background.
willing to get trained and take all the necessary courses. The next time she's out for
As a
something like
deputy.
this, as deputy.
Great. That's great. What's going on with you? Oh, that's not on the agenda, never mind. Thank you, Troy. Do we have a motion to allow Troy to take over
make that
animal
motion.
control in her absence?
Second.
All in favor? Okay, and now it's adult ed, I said
gotta sign.
testing.
Oh,
Oh, Barbara,
May I
sorry.
ask you a question? I don't mean to be rude, but not everybody may know who Troy is that's watching on television, and how would they reach him since they're used to calling Rhonda?
So I'm on the shellfish warden.
He's on the shellfish ward.
I'm on the website, Lubec Select Board. My number's on there.
I'll update the website as well, and they
I
can
just
call the
wanted that as
town.
information. People
No,
will be
that's
calling
okay.
Rhonda and there's nobody there.
We'll also update RCC, they oftentimes call there, we'll tell them the extra phone numbers to call.
Thank you.
Gotta sign it.
Okay, I guess we make the motion. Well, Renee, do you want to talk to us about adult ed?
I do.
Very excited about that. What does that say?
What's the same thing?
It says animal control, not deputy animal control. What did you want
Does that
to
say
do?
deputy?
It says deputy.
Okay, I think that's just as fair.
Oh, okay.
deputy animal control.
All right.
Is that what you want?
What do you need?
I need your, just the adult ed. So adult ed, the testing for high set is today. It was at 2 and 5:30 tonight. If anybody wants to still take it, just contact Axiom or us, and they will come down for anybody's testing. But they're going to be doing adult basic education, high set equivalency, and college transitions, which is, I guess, huge. So just getting that announcement out there if anybody's interested in taking adult ed. It'll be at Wednesdays in the LCOC portion of the old high school.
Are we putting these up everywhere?
We did.
Great.
They're everywhere and on Facebook and on Quality TV
good.
and on our website and on the Flatiron Corner.
Good. Well, that's wonderful. I hope that we can help some kids that had to drop out.
And if anybody's interested in a CNA course, we may have a teacher. Hopefully Julia Brady.
That's why we got
We
her
have to
here.
get more interest. If anybody's interested in a CNA course, the important thing is to get an instructor, and secondly, you got to have the students. So just let us know. And that's as needed, I guess.
So the garden club. The garden club wants us to help them water the flowers.
Barbara
correct?
Frazier is here.
Yes, I am.
Oh, Barbara.
And I just brought this file to show you all that this represents our records from 2010 on. Everett and I actually started it in 2008, but we didn't organize until 2010. This represents about $16,000 that we have contributed to the town without ever asking for any money. Well, what's happening is we're getting old and we can't do it all anymore. We need some help. It's been discussed that, well, I had a wonderful talk with Renee, who suggested some wonderful ideas on how to actually accomplish that. And what I'm asking you to do tonight is to okay the use of fire department equipment and to even have the cemetery crew possibly take that equipment and water for us if we have another problematic summer like this has been. It's just been horrendous to
She's
try
talking about the
to.
Rhino
I could-
ATV with the tank on it, and I've spoken
Right.
with Chief Hood, and he's all for it. I've
I was
spoken
just gonna
with,
say, we can't make a
oh,
motion to.
I've spoken to him, and
Say-
I've spoken with Public Works Director Ricky, and about adding to the duties of the cemetery mowers. They usually report to work at 6:30 in the morning, David.
Yes, ma'am.
I mean, you gotta wait for the grass to dry anyway, so
Yeah,
they could
good
use that
water.
time to go around. And I've asked Barbara to get a list of where everything would need to be watered. And so with all the departments together, I'm pretty sure we can help them out.
That would be absolutely delightful.
So, if they're in agreement, then do we have a motion to go ahead with, this is the next summer, correct?
Yes.
So,
I would move that we go ahead with this plan, as it seems to be agreeable for everyone involved, and it would take some of the burden off
I agree.
the garden.
It's hard
club.
enough to plant the flowers, but keeping
Yes.
it going, it's gotta
Yes.
be really hot, tough,
Yeah.
especially when we didn't have any water this summer.
Well, and this summer has been extraordinary. It's just terrible.
Do we have a second on that motion?
Second.
All in favor?
Well, thank you very much.
You're welcome, and thank you for those pretty flowers.
Yes, thank you guys so much.
It's changed the town, it really has.
Okay, Rogers Island. We voted at the town meeting to go ahead and put Rogers Island in conservation, so that for the main reason we didn't want the broccoli to be cut. And I was, both Renee and myself, and I believe Joanne was here that day, and spoke to Downey's Coastal Conservancy about that they're actually one of the land trusts that manages the roster of who can and can't be having rockweed cut. So they were offering to help us construct the conservation language. We have to be making it be the fiscal responsibility, and they're suggesting we have a trust that's set up that we manage the money part, and that they would write the legal description for the conservation, so that if we're not here, and it can't be changed, reversed, but only with what we want, what we want on it. And but it's not going to be free, but it's going to be extremely reasonable. I told them that it couldn't be what I think I threw out. It can't be more than $3,000 in legal fees, or we'd have to take it to bid. So I think it's going to be under that they help us. So there's
And
a
did you
letter email here from
yeah.
their owner, John Souther,
Yes.
who is the executive director of Downey's Coastal Conservancy, and we did run it by Maine Coast Heritage Trust, and they are in full agreement that they don't have a problem with them doing it, seeing as they're doing so much for us right now. They're very busy with Safe Harbor, they're very busy on Boot Cove Road, and there's only so much you can write easements for. And so I think their main concern is that where do we stand with MEDA? The trail, I know you met with them, we have not definitively made an answer we haven't definitively gone ahead and put it on their trail right yet, have we?
I believe we did. You did.
Well, we said to go ahead, but we didn't agree to what they could or couldn't do on it. We said to go ahead and work with them, but I don't think we haven't signed anything.
They haven't returned any, they haven't
Right,
let me know.
so we were gonna discuss what, because I remember we didn't want over on camping. Well, all of that is something that the lawyers have to, like, protect the birds and how many picnic tables, and apparently there's 2 islands when at high tide. There's a north and a south island, and I don't know, so they have, so Downey's Coastal Conservancy wants to help us with the easement structure before we sign an agreement with MEDA. That's it's MEDA, right?
Who's trying to handle the rockweed harvesting, or
Did you
the
say,
signs
Joanne?
against it?
Maine Island Trail Association.
Yeah.
I forgot what it is, that's why I said that. Main Island Trails, go ahead.
Well, do you remember when we first started talking about this, that there was a big concern
about the rockweed harvesting around Rogers Island, which was not supposed to happen. And we were going to see it, to look into it. And,
This is the result.
That's what we're doing.
okay, so that, I
This
didn't,
is why we're
that
doing
was
it.
when you talked, I didn't
It
get
has to
that.
be
This is
in
the result.
conservation,
Yeah,
and then you can legally say no rockweed cutting.
Okay.
And
that is vitally important because some of the aquatic creatures, the wood ducks, are gone. I mean, they're just not there. So we need to be more protective of that and be very proactive, I think. Am I?
Yeah, I think the town was gifted that
Yeah.
island with some description of conditions to
Yeah.
protect wildlife. And
Yeah.
I don't see that the Main Island Trail overlap,
Yeah.
but Maine Audubon will probably be a better source of what you can do as a town, since you're responsible for that island now, to steward it, to do it properly.
because
And they
you
would be
did
the
want the
best-
birds
the
protected,
best
I
source.
think.
Resource. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so,
That should be the most active thing we do.
The deed actually
You've
says.
been given a responsibility to steward the island, so now you've got to step up and make a plan to steward it.
Yeah.
Fortunately, you rendered some money towards
Yeah, oh,
maintenance.
yeah, quite a bit.
Barbara?
I agree with Michael. I think the National Audubon Society or Maine's Audubon Society, and we have a birding festival right here that happens every spring, would be a great contact for these people. Maybe they'll do it for nothing because it is a birding sanctuary. The other thing I have a concern with, usually when you have a sanctuary, you don't allow people, I guess I'm concerned when I heard the word picnic tables. Who's going to police that people take their trash off of that island? Birds will nest where nobody bothers them. That's why when you go up towards Calais, you have the eagles, and you can't go anywhere near there. I get concerned when you have birds
Well,
that,
from the preliminary discussion that we had with John Souther, just briefly, and with Davis Pike, who's a member of that there are two sections, that you could actually section off one part where you could in fact go and observe for a small amount of time, daily use, and then not disturb the birds. I think there is a way of having both.
I don't disagree with that, but I guess my other concern is, who do we have that's going to police that island to make sure that the stuff that they brought there gets off of there and not in the water?
Well, when they brought up
May I?
Maine Island Trail Association, just a minute, they told us that they in fact have, they sign in, the people that are involved with that group. First of all, there's public and private information. And they explained to us that this island could be on their private, membership only informational list, that you don't get the list of where you can go unless you pay, and those people are responsible.
Right. Membership includes your
Right.
agreement to leave nothing
Right.
behind, so
Yes.
but this is just Main Island Trails.
Just remember that.
Now, this isn't anybody who's taking advantage of the recreational opportunity. Just the members of Main Island Trails Association all agree to, they don't leave a mess behind. That's
No.
part of their club membership.
Yes.
Right.
That's right.
So we did agree that we didn't want, I think that we were leaning toward not having it publicly
We were
brought up.
leading towards less signage as opposed to more signage.
Right.
You know, you usually want to have people that, we would rather that not be,
No,
you know,
that
a
if you're a
public-
member of
Yeah.
Maine Island Trail Association, then you would be privy to the fact that
Yeah.
you could be there for a few hours.
On the topic of signage, along with this gift of an island was a piece of land for the purpose of parking to then access to
They
that.
purchased that with the money.
Yeah.
The town purchased that with some of the money.
Okay, well,
that
we
was
have,
given.
so there's a parking lot, but I
Where's
don't
that?
think it's
Right
a, it's,
Cheryl Sawtelle.
Yeah.
I don't think that the way to the water from the parking lot is very easily
No,
crossed,
it needs work.
No,
except by a very athletic person.
It's terrible.
Yeah,
Well, maybe, you know.
This is a starting point for.
So-
exactly, that's why I figured now.
So if you just have a little skiff, there's people can go to Treats Island, or you can go to Pope's Folly with a skiff. If you know
Comprehensive
the
plan
right
had
time.
identified as one of the undeveloped opportunities in town, so
Well, I
it
guess
is
There's a
missing
kind
one
of
piece.
delicate
Yeah,
line
I'm not
here.
sure, I'm
you
not
know.
sure we need to spend
Yeah,
money
how
on
delicate.
something that doesn't have easy access to begin with. I'm
Yeah.
not sure why that was purchased.
I'm not sure
but
that
we
you want
should-
that
Yeah,
access
to
too easy.
Make it, actually, the will, I've read the will, and it is, Rogers Island was given to the town for a sanctuary for the birds,
Yeah.
and to quote the will, it says if birds don't mind to have a small park and for light recreational
Oh, then
purposes.
that's what we're doing.
And the money is supposed to maintain a park, or
Yes.
create access, that sort of
But
thing.
the access is through the boat landing. I mean, you don't, that's how you get to an
Well, I'm
island.
not talking a boat landing, I'm talking a trail that somebody with a kayak or a canoe can go.
Yeah.
Right.
It's only a short distance.
That's right.
That's
Oh, I
how
see
you
what you're
limit it,
saying.
it's pedestrian access. You carry your kayak to the water.
Oh, okay.
Now, I guess my concern is, we are gonna leave it open to the clammers, correct?
That was the question at the town
That's
meeting,
my
and the
concern.
answer was, Melissa said yes. And yes, we will have to we do need to tell that to
Right.
Down East Coastal Conservancy that it has to be left open for the clammers.
But they only maintain the no-cut list
Right.
of rockweed, so they don't have anything.
That's nothing to do with Rockwood.
And one footnote to that was the town didn't know that when it put Rogers Island on the no-cut list, that they needed to do it each year in a row. They thought it was-
That
No,
was
I
in
did
the past
know that.
administration
You
did
did?
not know.
Because I
apparently.
called this year to do that and nobody knew what I was talking about.
Down East Coastal Conservancy wasn't aware that
They had a big change and,
Yeah.
and so.
they don't know.
Okay, so
But
do we
it's
need a
not
motion
legally
coming out?
enforceable. I don't mean to point, but it's not, the enforcers are DMR, and so unless it's in this will, I mean, in the deed, they can't enforce it, it's not a law.
Well,
It's
that's what we're
only
trying to do.
Right.
It has to be
So
written.
the no-cut zone list is voluntary.
So DMR can't enforce voluntary.
I
Barbara?
don't mean to drag this on, but I guess I have a question for Renee. You said you read the will and it says as long as the birds don't mind.
Yeah.
Can you explain to me how you're gonna get that answer?
That's
That
way
was somewhat
it's
tongue in cheek, I believe.
I understand that, Rachel, but to
think-
me, if you don't go somewhere
tongue in
and
beak,
bother
as
the
it were.
birds, they'll nest and they'll hibernate and everything right there. But once you trespass or trample on something, they're not coming back.
Well, it's I believe
That's
they're gonna-
why no science. That's why I'm
Separating the
this
islands.
They're gonna
delicate
separate
line.
the islands to where you can actually sit
Yeah.
and have, rest, and where you can actually observe the birds. Probably it's close enough that with binoculars you can see the birds on the
And
sanctuary
this is
park.
already done, there's already 4 picnic tables out there. This was done in the past. The Rogers Island Trust took care of that.
The man was done right.
Barbara, are you putting flowers on there? You just-
Most places that exist like that have certain periods where no one is allowed on the island.
Depends on the migration of the birds and the nesting
And the
time.
nesting habitats.
So someone needs to
and so
identify the
forth.
birds that are still living on there.
Exactly.
Then we go back to Audubon.
Audubon
That's
Society can do
Yeah.
that. So, do we have a motion that we can go ahead, work
I
with
just wanna-
Down East Coastal Conservancy on this?
I just want to raise a little thing here. For years and years and years, it's been out there.
Mhm.
It's had picnic tables on it. We've known that it's been a bird sanctuary. I just have a little bit of weird vibe that why all of a sudden are 2 factions coming after this property? Not coming after it, but exposing it more than it has ever been before.
The rockweed harvesting brought it to light. We were getting complaints.
Main
daily.
Island Trail, okay,
Did we reach out to
and now
them?
Down East Conservancy. Now,
We reached out
it
to
just
We
makes
reached out
me
to
kind
them.
of leery when 2 factions come at a piece of property like, I don't know.
How did we do?
Well, I
how did
think
Main
Doesn't
Island
it make,
Trail-
I mean, doesn't it
Yeah,
make
yeah.
you wonder?
Yeah, I
Main-
think
Main
MEDA
Island
and
Trails
Down
made
East
the
Coastal
approach.
Conservancy want to protect it. But I think with the rockweed harvesting, that was brought
I
to
can
our
answer, yeah.
attention.
Main Island Trails sent a representative, he came to my office, brought a book, I guess he's brought one here from the past, with all their stopovers. And at that time, I had been researching a lot on Rogers Island, and so I mentioned it to him. So that came from me. And then we did.
But he showed up, so
Oh,
it's
your
not.
fault.
Well,
That's right.
yes.
No, but I just,
Yeah, Mike?
I just kind of, I don't know.
I know what
Yeah.
you're saying.
I know what you're saying, Joanne. It
And then
seems
we're
ironic.
seeking help from Down East Coastal to
We're
help.
just gonna try
Get
to
it
protect it.
protected.
Anybody who wants to
Yeah.
get their hands
Yeah.
on anything that's
And
pure and
what's her
raw,
name,
that's been there forever, but
Sure.
now we're just trying to
Sure.
protect it, because it is now visible. Before, it was just quietly there without anybody.
And like I'm
to-
saying,
Yeah, but but now that
sometimes,
but now that
It's in the
people know
library.
about it, you gotta protect it.
well, sometimes the more exposure is not a good thing.
Right.
That's what
Well,
we're
I
getting
don't,
at.
And that's what I'm
unfortunately,
saying.
That's right,
you
you're gonna
can't
watch
put
that,
the genie
that
back in the
delicate
bottle.
line, no signage,
Right.
yeah.
Who was having a hand raised? raised.
I had a hand raised. Main Island Trails Association, this is not their first exposure to this area, and had a meeting at the Cobb's Cook Learning Center during the previous administration of the town that I attended, and they were quite clear that they wanted better and more access to this region because the increased need that way is pushing more people to come here and experience water access. So they've been at this a while, and I have to give them credit that they've stuck with it for over 6 years now. And you couldn't ask for a better group to partner with for this island.
I agree.
Yes, it's
It's
conservation.
a curse and it's
I'm
a
not gonna ruin it.
blessing, but
Yeah.
if this town grasps moving towards a tourist-based economy, that island becomes a gem because of the bird, the very authentic bird habitat that it represents. So I guess you all realize you don't want to mess it up.
That's
But on
right.
the other hand, it makes us a member of the rest of these clubs. So the town of Lubec is now the steward of an island.
Yeah, that's cool.
And there's a population of birds on that.
But I know
island,
what you
so
mean.
The rest is
But
up
more
to you.
people that
And
you
you're
got out
responsible
there.
for it.
When I go down,
That's birds
when I
you
go
see.
patrol down the South Bay, I go right by there, I'll drop them off for a price. I'll pick them up for double that
That's work.
price.
That works
I'll
nice.
pick them up for double
I
that
knew
price.
you had to pick up trucks.
I'd like to throw out a suggestion since we keep going around with different organizations. One of them was, it's a bird sanctuary. We don't know what birds migrate and breed or nest there. Is to get the National Audubon Society, if they'll come out, or the people that run the birding festival every year, get them to go out to that island and see if they can identify what birds are there. And then move forward, because you know
I
then
think
what you're
we
doing.
should consider, we have a trust and consider even possibly paying a small fee for someone who actually knows what they're talking about and will actually go and give
That's
us a
what she's
report.
I don't think the National Audubon Society.
Will they do
is
it for
any better.
free?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think
I don't
we've got
care if there's
Robin
somebody to come out there and
Seeley, people out
identify
there
it.
for free.
Does she know the birds?
Oh, God, yes.
She
Does it
does?
say in any of that documentation?
What
I
birds
mean,
are?
there's a file, there's a folder that thick from the Dickersons that, it must say something about what family of birds.
I have not seen any of that.
No.
Well,
somebody
the
needs
thing
to
that I
document it.
remember distinctly was that used to be a favorite place for the eider ducks. And they are no longer out there. They haven't seen them in
That's what I
quite a long
heard. I heard
time.
that too.
Yeah.
You had a
What's
lady
an
at a
eider
meeting
duck?
one time in a wheelchair.
That was Sawtell,
Identified,
right?
and she said they're no longer there.
That's right.
So somebody has
That was
disturbed their
Sharon.
habitat.
And that's the rockweed harvest.
Well,
We
eagles.
think it's the rockweed harvesters
Yeah.
that have disturbed the eider ducks.
Yeah.
There was eagles on that island for a while.
There was one when I was out there, he was still there.
Yeah,
He had a beard. No, I'm kidding.
So we want to do two things. So how about we make a motion that we go ahead with contacting the Audubon Society to find out how to document how many birds are there and what we should and shouldn't do for the birds. And then we go ahead with Down East Coastal Conservancy to help us draw up the stewardship and the environment, what is it, easement? Conservation easement that necessary, and then they are gonna refer us to, I believe a lawyer will help us draw up our trust, because that they can't do. They can't do the financial trust, that's our end. But it's simple to do. JD?
I was at a meeting a year ago regarding aquaculture permits,
Yeah, I know.
and the main division of inland fisheries and wildlife had an expert there who was very knowledgeable about birds.
So maybe he could help
So
us.
possibly you could contact the agency, get a state agency involved.
We have a motion on the table.
Well,
though.
we also.
So we need a second,
Okay.
and then we can discuss.
Motion is to contact Audubon Society and to use DECC to assist town in putting island in conservation.
Yes. We, okay.
We need a second.
A second.
Okay, so now it's discussion.
We also have a couple in town, Lisa Delwall and Michael Schlesinger, Bill Schlesinger, who are avid bird watchers and very knowledgeable.
And he is a member of the Audubon.
And he is a
Maybe he
member of
can
the
help us.
Audubon, and I think that we could ask them to ask. I think that would be your
Yeah,
first.
member of the
That's
Audubon
what
I-
Society would be
That's
really
what
good.
my suggestion was.
Oh, yeah, and that was when we first talked about this.
Maureen Ward
Yes.
actually mentioned them too.
Yeah,
because I've been
Maureen,
seeing the
yeah.
process.
So they, so
I
go
think
through
they would
them.
be a good initial contact.
Okay.
Troy?
If they need transportation to the island, I can take them up and drop them off with free of charge.
Great.
Thank you.
Well, of course, the town pays for my gas on my boat anyway, so.
I'm going for that blood.
Yeah, really.
Renee, you pay for my gas anyway, so. I think you just signed it.
Well, you do a lot of work for the town, Troy, we appreciate it.
Well, thank you.
So it's really more, it was more, the motion was more to, not just to contact the Audubon Society, but to get some knowledgeable person as to know what kind of birds are on there and their migration and, so
advice.
whether it be the Audubon Society or this person that you mentioned,
Delwo and
or
Schlesinger.
or inland fisheries.
That would be the Audubon Society.
Yes.
Because they're very
Active.
involved.
Involved, yes.
And so, and to go ahead with Down East Coastal Conservancy
Yes.
and have their lawyers help us with the proper wording. And it says, if you read in the email, that they don't want to suggest anything that we don't want done. So they're
Yes.
willing to listen to what we want, which is, I think we achieved a pretty good direction. 2 islands, one for maybe visiting, one for the birds, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, it's all good, except I have this, I continue to have reservations about having too many people out there. And it's almost like it was better before we discovered it. But except for the rockweed.
You can limit four at a time.
Yeah.
Or 2, 4 at a time, and then if the thing is full, you can have right on the log.
Yeah.
4, and then if 2 more people come, you can't come today. I mean, I'm pretty sure that would work. Barbara?
And I think that the Audubon Society will really help in establishing limits
Yes.
and giving us an idea of how to go about
Seasonal.
safeguarding.
Yeah, like
all of that.
when nobody should go out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully there are still birds out there.
I think there are birds out there, but the eider ducks are around the shore,
Wow.
and they're most vulnerable to once the rockweed goes,
That's
then
too
they
bad.
go.
That's unfortunate. Well, maybe we can bring them back.
Hopefully.
Okay, so we need a vote. Do we have a vote on the motion and a second?
All those in favor? Yeah, all
What?
those in favor.
All in
Yeah.
favor? No, that was the vote. Okay, then. All right, other business. Safe Harbor, we have a preliminary concept drawing that's going to be approved hopefully and accepted by the committee tomorrow night. We've been given $10,000 from the Butler Foundation for cost estimates specifically to Proc Marine. That was the reason why the money was given. We have to technically accept the gift of $10,000. The select board does, so I make a motion that we. Do I have a motion?
I move that we accept the gift of $10,000 and the pursuance of Proc Marine.
Yes, cost estimate.
Yeah.
Do I have a second?
Well, the birds are for it too, so. I'm gonna say.
All in favor?
We're on a new topic.
Okay.
Now, what is Proc Marine exactly gonna do? Just
They'll give an
Well,
estimate.
we have a very reasonable person, down to earth, Oscar Emerson, that's been helping us with conceptual drawings, and they went out with the harbor master and did all the soundings. They've done all kinds of preliminary work. What we're hoping Proc Marine will do, and I contacted the person, he's looked at it, but he did it for free until we had some money and to get some direction from the committee, a cost estimate of the water-based part. The land part, we believe, would be from someone else. I mean, the building of the parking lot and the access down to the water is land-based. It's gonna be two sections, but the cost of a breakwater, that's something beyond, I believe, any land construction people. That they're marine engineers. So we need to just know.
I'm very familiar with the problem.
So we were just hoping they could give us some kind of idea, because what's driving a cost analysis is a grant application. You cannot apply for a grant and ask for matching funds from foundations without giving them a vision and a cost. You can't say, well, we want this, but it's gonna cost anywhere from $1 million to $8 million, and we don't know. So that's what we're looking for,
Yeah, you
for
gotta
Brock.
have it specific.
I kind of like an estimate,
Mhm.
but they're not necessarily gonna do anything with that.
And we'd love to see you at the meeting.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah,
It's tomorrow at 6.
they're just not a huge outfit, that's why I was asking how far they were gonna go.
Well,
They're pretty big.
they're pretty big
Smaller.
from marine engineering.
Yeah.
They went, I think they're the ones, weren't they the ones that come and did the state dock for like,
Yes.
Mhm.
for like 2 days and left and did all the pilings?
Mhm.
They were-
It might have been 3, but.
It was fast, was it not fast?
Yep.
Zoom, here came the
Yep.
barge.
And you have
and-
the right equipment.
But it's for a specific contracted assignment, it is not, there was still, it'll still go to bid. We accepted that already.
Yeah.
Okay, committee updates. I'll do yours for you. Harbor Board is, Harbor Board is the third Monday at 6 o'clock, which Jason hasn't gone to yet.
17.
The 17th. Joanne?
Yeah, September 24th at 4:30, Meddy Bent's Hall, down East EMS.
Recycle is the 13th?
14th.
14th?
Friday?
Friday, that's the 14th. Okay, Friday the 14th.
Sounds better.
At what time?
At 4 o'clock.
Remember, these meetings are public.
Yes, I know.
Anybody can come to these meetings, that's why they're all held up here.
Hopefully that somebody will be here. And the economic development, we are going to wait till Stephanie McLaughlin puts together the survey results and that kind of thing, and then we will meet again here. But,
Waiting for the results.
yeah, well, it's, you tabulate it into whatever it is.
Are they still filling them out? People are,
Apparently they are, yeah.
Be faster if they had ice cream.
You're such a cheeky devil.
Dan,
Nobody as of yet has come up with any great ideas for business opportunities and needing money, so the revolving loan has not met this summer. We're hoping for some applications in October, so October 2nd at 3 o'clock. So please look on the website as well as the opportunities that the revolving loan can offer to you.
Shellfish meeting's usually the first Monday at 6, but this month it was Labor Day, so it's September 10th at 6 o'clock. And Safe Harbor is usually the fourth Thursday of the month at 5 o'clock, but it is going to be tomorrow, September 6th at 6 o'clock. And the engineer, Oscar Emerson, will be there to show us his new conceptual drawing, which has both an entrance and an egress now. And what else? Am I on anything else? I don't think so. I know I signed a lot of committee things and swore in, I can't remember.
They surprised you.
I'm your deputy for variant transfer, right?
I
He
couldn't
is, you're the alternate.
The alternate, or whatever they call it.
You're the alternate.
So when
I'm
is
the
it?
alternate, he's the regular guy. Yeah.
Any reports from Marion Transfer Action?
No, the compactor's doing its job, and we're sending full containers out, and we're very happy, and
Good.
things are working fairly smoothly. We did have one little glitch. We should have gotten 4 boxes at the start, but we finally got the 4th one, and it got held up and cost a little more because of the tariffs. But we have 4 boxcars now, so the train set works pretty good.
It is working fantastic.
So, public comment?
Could I add one thing? There seems to be a plethora of gossip out there that the recycle department here is closed, much the same as many recycle departments in the state. And I want to dispute that. Our recycle department is alive and well. Well, live and kicking. We are struggling. We've had some problems with the tariff, the effects of the tariff, but Kenny is still taking in recyclables. So bring them down.
Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday, right?
Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday.
Number
And
two,
I'm not sure if we're
plastic,
still taking
glass.
e-waste, are we?
Yes.
Yes, always.
Good.
We always take e-waste.
Oh, God.
Can I just update the board on something, as you mentioned that, it reminded me of the old Public Works garage. It is cleaned out. I contacted all the line holders that from the telephone pole to get that disconnected, and I contacted Hanscoms today that they can pull the trigger whenever they're ready. So it's ready to come down.
So when is it going to come down?
Don't know yet. but
Oh,
they
don't
know
you
it's
think
in
we
there,
should
but
have a
all there.
gathering down there?
The ball's in there.
Filming, John can write an article, take pictures.
And the concrete.
Are they releasing any rats into the town with that? Or
Why you gotta go there?
any other kind of vermin?
Yeah, why you gotta go
Why you
there?
gotta go there?
I'm sorry.
Nancy has something.
With birds.
Well, we had pigeons.
Do we have a question?
Public comment.
No, I was just gonna comment that, I met today with the school board chair, and there's like stuff left over at the old high school. And the last Saturday in September, there's gonna be an opportunity for folks to come down to the LCOC and take a desk or some of the other stuff between 8 and 11, Lubec.
Okay, so they're gonna offer it to the citizens.
Correct, and then, there is some identified garbage, and there is, like some microscopes and some stuff they're gonna put up to see if a good home can be found for them. But, hopefully they're gonna move along with getting rid of the garbage part of what's in there, and, Renee has an offer for them of who might be able to recycle all the desks that aren't taken by the citizens of Lubec, and just welcome you all to come on down and check it out. Adult Ed settled in today. They came with their food trays for people. I'm not sure if anybody showed up, but they'll be back next week, and we'll keep rolling along.
For anybody that doesn't know, this is Nancy Harrison and her husband Ed, but Nancy is the new director of LCOC.
Oh, good.
Excellent.
Welcome.
Well, welcome to Lubec.
I like the floor work on that.
Barbara.
Follow up to what Nancy just said, maybe Renee could put that on, Quality TV.
I missed the
because
date.
So it's gonna be the
The last
29th, but
Saturday.
I don't wanna,
Got it. I had it
the
right there.
school board chair, assured me that he'd take care of the verbiage and the posting of all of that, so I'm not doing
I'm
it.
just saying, because a lot of people may not watch this, but
Right.
they may catch it on Quality
Yep.
TV, and I would recommend that we also put it down on the
Also,
sign down on
Michael's gonna do it
Flatiron.
apparently.
Yep,
And of
yeah, we
course
should
the
talk
rest.
about that on the sign, so 8 to 11 on the
And when
last
is the next
Saturday.
school board meeting?
The 20th is the next school board meeting.
Here, up here, at 6?
There's a
Put
budget
that
meeting
in.
tomorrow afternoon.
The school budget meeting, Stephanie?
Well, I was just going to make a comment that this is specifically, as the previous school board had directed, this is Lubec residents only. We don't want, after the Lubec people have their first choice, and it's going to be going in the garbage, you know, that anybody's.
Oh, yeah, that's a good
But this is number one for Lubec residents only. It's not for all of the other community people to come and
So you just have to put that on there.
He was
Put
gonna
that on
identify
file.
that, I think he was gonna have a
Yeah.
time period that would be Lubec first, and he also stated, if the airport needs a desk, you know, there are some usable stuff that the Masons or Town Hall or the fire department could utilize, you're more than welcome to come on down and take a look at what's in there. Yeah.
Or do you think now that the town of Lubec should have a choice to get there before those, don't you think the town should be able to, if they need it, should be able to have a
Maybe come on
pre-request?
down before the 29th.
I'm gonna go shopping.
Let's go.
I think only a few.
Yeah, and
Stephanie.
then the only other thing to add to that is that we're going to take the high schools. The idea was going to be floated. That's going to be brought up at the meeting on the 20th. That the high schools that our Lubec children attend, there's science equipment and scales and stuff. And that specific stuff like that they might be able to use in their science class, that'll continue to help our Lubec resident students.
That's a great idea.
So that probably
That
would
makes
be
sense.
Washington Academy. Come in, do you need any specific science equipment? Because it's gonna benefit the Lubec children.
That makes sense, doesn't it? Do they need
Mm-hmm.
anything from us? No.
No, the only thing would just be, getting rid of the disposable stuff that, you know,
Plus
that
that
school boards
rental
that,
we
yeah.
had there.
But
Hopefully everybody's amended, when you say the word free, usually it disappears.
Yeah, Renee's first dibs for the airport desk that she needs.
Yes, so many pictures of it. I mean, the airport is literally
Right, and there are
less
some
smaller
small
than this
ones.
desk
Right.
itself, so
There are some small ones.
that's what she needs, a really small one.
Carol, when they
Go ahead,
say
hand
that
it,
it's for
Barbara.
Lubec residents only, I would like to think that Mike has set up something that you have to bring something that shows that you are a Lubec resident. Because you can have people coming from all over saying, well, I want this. How do you know? They wouldn't know whoever's down there whether you're a Lubec resident. You and I
Well, you
don't
probably
know.
have to bring your driver's license.
I'm just
and
saying,
your
there should
Lubec
be some kind of
license.
identification that's required.
I have to show, everybody has to show that when I sell ferry tickets, and it's like, I know half of them, but some people I don't know.
Well, I know the school board chair plans on being there, and I'll be there, and I'm just gonna ask people if they're local and be okay with that, but if anybody else wants to go further, they're more than welcome to it.
And the stuff that doesn't go, the school
Right.
is taken
And-
care of with a dumpster.
Right. Yep. That's my understanding.
Good, moving onward and upward.
Keep smiling.
I'm gonna keep trying.
Oh, right, I'm sorry. Oh, really? Is it on? It's not on here. Oh, yes, it is. Oops, I missed that. Well, thank you all for coming. We're now going into executive session, MRSA 4056A. Personnel, need a motion.
Motion.
Second? Second?
Myself, second.
All in favor? All in favor?
Okay.
Where's your house?